Hello and welcome to the Underpowered Podcast. It's a gaming podcast where even when we're busy, we still find time to game. My name is Shelby Stokes. This is Mr. Casey Cool.
Hey.
And our expert, Mr. Eric Scott, is also here.
Expert at what, though?
What's up?
Expert of all. A jack of all experts is what this man is.
Oh, I've heard of that saying. Jack of all experts is better than none. Yeah.
That's
I have a black
say.
belt. I have a black belt in being an expert.
Yes.
So we have a family friend who's just getting started on like the Taekwondo thing, and he is jacked to go and do the tests and everything.
Nice.
It's pretty crazy. He's like a white belt with a yellow strip down the center right now, and he thinks he is hot
belt.
stuff. Yeah.
Is this a kid or an adult?
He's an adult or a kid.
That's awesome.
He's a kid.
Okay. My
He's
son's been doing Taekwondo. So Eric and I, Eric's a certified Taekwondo instructor, right? He's a black belt.
Black belt, right? Yeah, I knew that.
Like
so you could like kill a person in the streets for no reason.
I mean, there'd have to be a reason.
It doesn't take Taekwondo to do that. People.
Yeah, it's called a gun.
I mean,
yeah,
people do it. People are doing it all the time.
Yeah.
This is California. That's where that stuff happens.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's a great place to be.
That's what, no. Yeah. My son started doing it in August, and he's gotten a couple belts now, and he's enjoying it too. He got another stripe tonight on his because he did a break. He did his first kick break. He broke a board with a kick.
Oh, I was about to ask. Was it a kick break?
Yeah, it's finally a kick this time.
Yeah,
turning kick.
Yeah.
Or no, side kick.
Yeah. How much does he like kicking?
It's harder. My son has some bilateral movement issues, so it's harder. But the head instructor worked with him today. It was, as a parent, you get like these highs and lows. When you know something's hard for your kid and you see him overcome it, that like you get this overwhelmed feeling. And so they worked on him like raising his leg up for kicking, and he's kicking much better. He kicks better with his left side, which is weird because he's right-handed. But his left kicks are really high and always super fast, so he kicks left. So everyone needs to look out.
So is it like super intense? Because what I'm hearing about the place that my friends go to is like when you are in the dojo, like
dojang in Korean,
to the master. Like you don't do anything. You don't talk to your parents. It's like he's like, this is my mat, and it's very intense.
It depends on the school, and it depends. Like if you ever go to the little kid classes, it's just hilarious because they're just like falling over and doing stuff. Yeah. It should also be fun, but like at a certain age, like how old your friend's son?
Like 6
or 7. They need to learn like, hey, when they're instructing, there's a time to talk, and if you talk too much, you're gonna get a big workout out of it, type of thing. But Eric's always pushed for me like, you need to find a place that's fun, because that's what gets him to stay at that age too.
Yeah, and I've been looking at it because I trained yesterday, trained last night. I look at it from a lifelong perspective with martial arts. You hook them now when they're young. You don't when they're young. Don't take them to like we need to go to the UFC gym with the top level. No, take them to the place that's fun where they're going to have a good time and they're going to want to keep going and they're going to learn skills. But at the young age, it's more about developing body movements. It's more about developing balance. It's developing. Yeah, it's developing, kind of the foundation of where their martial arts can grow. And then from that point, when they love it and they start seeing stuff that's really cool, like the Power Ranger stuff or, the UFC stuff, anything like that, that's when they can start, taking that enthusiasm and
Dragon Ball, Naruto, Ninja Turtles, like whatever, gateway drug.
Go to Master Roshi's Island, learn the Kamehameha, whatever pathway you want to take. But it starts with fun. Yeah. I'm a believer.
Yeah. Fun first. What's up, Linda, in the chat? Nice to see you. Linda watched all of our Goaty stuff, or the game of the year, and was enjoying that. So thanks for swinging by on the live.
Thanks, Linda.
Appreciate it.
Well, speaking of game of the year stuff, I think there might have to be a recount because I was talking to you about games. And a game that everyone's talking about at the end of the year that I got on because it's free on mobile is a little thing called Vampire Survivor. Have you heard of it?
You did it. Like all of the lists are like, check this game out. This game is addictive. You should try it out. And you're playing it on phones, huh?
Yeah, because I know a couple people playing it on PC and they got it. And then so the company that made Vampire Survivor, there's so many things I could go with this. As I play the trailer here, just because I want it going when I'm talking. It's gotten tons of positive. Everywhere I hear about it, it's just positive reviews. And the reason why the company that makes the game, the hardest thing was they didn't like anybody they were trying to pay out to do the mobile version. And every company that wanted to do it wanted to do microtransactions, and they were morally opposed. They're like, no, this is predatory. We're not doing that. So they made it themselves. Here's the biggest thing how they make revenue. If you die in the middle of the run, watch one ad, and you can get a resurrection to come back and finish the run, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And at the end of a run, you can watch ads for extra gold. So that's the only way. You can't buy anything from them. It's just watch ads. And the only time it's in the middle of your play is if you die during your run. Dude, if you like numbers and you like things dying, this game is awesome for it.
Dude, do you feel like this is gonna melt your phone though? There's like 1,000 things going on at once.
Not at all, because it's like pixel art graphic. It's like if you played any of the Castlevania games, it really hits like that. It doesn't push the system. What pushes it is it's so simple, but it has depth to it too, because when you get certain weapons, you learn, oh, if I mix this weapon with this secondary item, it actually upgrades the weapon to a super powerful weapon, right? So your first run, you're going to suck and you're not going to get it. But when 3 minutes, you're like, oh, okay, the numbers go up. It's about surviving. And then you unlock characters that start with different weapons that lets you get to spec out. I know that's Millie in the back. Yeah, she's a good girl. And I was so pleasantly surprised with this game. And everybody should play it on mobile if you can't, or if you want to play it on a console with controller, because you don't press any button, you just move. That's the other thing. You can play it. Thank you. You can play it just doing whatever. Excellent toilet game. Someone in our Discord was chatting or complaining that their game erased after like they were away for 30 minutes, but I've done it multiple times where I come back in like 15, 20 minutes. Got to continue.
That was going to be my question. Like, so if you're mid-run, you like turn the game off, can you come back to that same run or not?
So on iOS, as long as you don't swipe up and like close the app, you can.
Interesting.
And so like, I really want you two to play it because I'm curious to see what everyone's favorite weapon is. I think that's a personality test. Like people talk about zodiac signs, more like what's your Mario Kart character, what's your weapon choice in Vampire Survivor.
So I actually got into this game this weekend a little bit. It's on Game Pass. I played it on Xbox. I did not play it on a phone. And I was really excited to play this game because of all the hype from Game of the Years, like across the web. Like they keep mentioning Vampire Survivors at the top of their list, or at least in their top 10. So I'm thinking like, okay, this is going to be it. And it's really addictive. Like it's really addictive. It has that one more run, or I could have done this differently. And it's surprisingly, for what it is, it feels like it's something that could get very old very quickly. And it feels like it just keeps you on the edge that you're about to die every couple of seconds. And it's really, really well made.
Yeah. It's really, but it's simple. Right? It's not like you just move. Certain things are ideal. Like I was like, okay, let me try garlic. Garlic's awesome. Garlic gives you a buffer.
Garlic's my number one right now.
Garlic gang for life, baby. Let's do it. Yeah, garlic. And then if you get garlic mixed with the one that gives you HP back, have you done a hybrid weapon yet where you've gotten it perked up?
Yeah, I have done a handful of those. Yeah.
Have you beaten a level? Have you gotten to the full timer?
Yes, I have full timered about like 4 or 5 of the different levels, and it's really good. I'm at the point now where I'm not really sure how to advance to the unlockable levels beyond where I am. I think that I need to go through and hit some of the achievements, like actually start achievement hunting.
That's what unlocks characters too.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, because I kept doing the forest level without doing the next one, because I'm like, no, I want to get to the full 30 minutes. I want to get to the full thing and see how long I can go.
Yeah, it's really, really well done. Like I don't know how I feel about like the run-based timers on the game, because like what I found myself doing is like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and play real quick, and then I'll look up at the timer and it'll be like 27 minutes into a run, and I'm like, I just sat here and burned a half an hour on this run. What am I doing with my life? So I don't know. It like cuts both ways. It's like, maybe I should turn this off and delete it immediately because this game is too sticky, too good.
Mm-hmm. Well, the worst is, have you gotten to like 29 minutes and then died?
Yes.
You're like, I gotta go. One more try. And it's 30 minutes. That's the thing. You look up and time has passed. You're like, oh man, I could have played a lot of games and maybe progressed in a story. Nah, it's just like, let me get more numbers, please.
And I honestly think that's gonna be what kills this game for me, is like going into a 29-minute run and being like, wow, that was amazing. I feel like I just blacked out and fast forwarded through time. But like at the same time, it's like, oh, I could be over here playing this game or making some progress somewhere else. Not that you're not making progress in this game. It's just a very interesting balance. And I can see why it's held so highly, is because it's probably one of the stickiest, like one more time, and then all of a sudden you're another 30 minutes into a run.
The game somehow achieved time travel. I don't get it. You're like, hey, I'm in the future. What happened? Ugh, it's a new day.
For sure. I would be afraid to have this on my phone. Like for the same reason, I refuse to keep Marvel Snap on my homepage on my phone. That is the same reason I will probably not download this.
You know, I was able to wean off. Marvel Snap has seasons, so it's like, do I want to grind on the card? That's really what it comes down to. For Silver Surfer, I was like, yeah, okay, I want to get that card because I like Silver Surfer. But this, I haven't touched it in a couple weeks, but it's bad where it's like, like I would lose a lot of my life to it. It's a great game. Everybody should play. I know, like, don't touch it. It's really good.
That's exactly right. And like, I think, you know, and I didn't appreciate this like to the extent that I do now. And what I'm going to say is like the game Hades, like them telling a story in a roguelike where you can kind of have that run. And you're like, okay. And then you get like little bits of story that you pick up. I think that this game would probably be something that would stick a little bit better in my craw or my play style if it did have a little bit of a story to like push me through. And maybe there will be a story. The thing that's interesting about this game is you start off and it's like, select one of these two characters. And then you play the first level and it's like, oh, actually you can go with one of these 5 characters now. And now there's 2 more levels to look at. And like with each run, it's unlocking different systems and ways to interact with the game, which makes it deeper as you continue to progress. And I think that is a really smart way to go about it, because that's where they're building the longevity in this game, is like do 3 more achievements and then you get a new level, do 3 more achievements and then you might get a new weapon. Like I'm seeing those combinable weapons and there's still question marks on a few of them that I can't even access at this time.
Yeah, that's why you keep playing. Eric, I think this game could ruin your life. I highly recommend it. I would like to see you try it, because I know well, what's the last? I mean, you play.
You're
Pokemon
such
Go.
a good friend.
I am, right? Because I would just
Pokemon
like to
Go. You're out walking.
That's true. Pokemon Go does promote a bit of health. This does not. This promotes you sitting and losing track of your life. Like, I missed work today. This is bad.
And there's like so much going on in the beginning. You're just like, how do you even parse through of all that? And then as you get so high level, you're so OP. You're just like, oh, it doesn't even matter. Oh, maybe I should go this way. Maybe I should go that way.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Do you have a favorite character yet?
I like the knife guy, the guy with no shirt. And you build that really quick. And then there's a character. Have you gotten the pentagram?
I have got the pentagram.
So the pentagram's nice when you perk that up. And then I really like the axe. The axe is great once you get that unlocked too. But knife guy's my favorite to start. I like getting the knife, and then I like getting either lightning or the mage wand, because the mage wand hits whoever. And then I want holy water or a Bible. I want something that goes around me.
Dude, the holy water is great because it's a great way to like manage hordes. You know what I mean? Like
if you get that,
WoW friends.
Well, the other aspect that's important to the game is the perks in the option menu that you put your points into. So like you can get extra projectiles from it. And then if you get the duplicator ring with the extra projectiles, and then you just make like a sea, there's all this holy water that things die into. So good. Actually, I'm just going to be playing the rest of the podcast. Don't worry, guys.
It feels like you can straight up break this game. Like you can break this game with a few different builds. And I think that's why it's so brilliant. I'm sure there's a way to like carefully piece everything together and start combining weapons so you can be like the ultimate end game. And I'm not quite there yet, but I think it's really good. I want to keep playing it, but again, it's like I sit down, I'm like, I'm going to play a quick 5-minute game, and then 30 minutes later, I've gone through. I literally sat down at 9 o'clock thinking, okay, I'll play for a little bit and then go to bed, and stayed up till 1 a.m. this weekend playing this game, and it felt like a matter of 15 minutes.
Yeah. You're like sunken-eyed. I'll tell you a game that actually is 5 minutes. That's pretty quick. That honors your time a little bit.
Wait. But before you move on,
okay.
This Vampire Survivors game is probably the best podcast game I have played in years.
When you're listening to a podcast.
Exactly. If you want to turn on a podcast or watch a show with your wife that you don't really want to pay attention to.
You don't really want to watch, right?
Right. Like you can kind of just turn off and plug in, and you just like automatically go through the level in Vampire Survivors, and everything happens around you and you can absorb it. Yeah. So if you're looking for a game that fits in that vein, I think this is perfect. This isn't something that you're going to sit down and be like, I'm going to have a cup of coffee and enjoy the night with a nice story. It's not that.
You don't need the caffeine. It is the caffeine.
This is like the dopamine, man. Like it hits very quickly.
It sounds like a DMV game.
Yeah, it is.
This is a wait inside of a government building for an ID card type of a game.
This is actually perfect for that, because then you're like, oh, I'm done. Or if you're on a plane trip and you wanted to just like, okay, I'm on this, I'm done. I forgot to pack something. Great. The game I was going to say that's quick and easy and honors your time is a little thing called Retro Bowl. Retro Bowl it's Tecmo football, but you can control the offense you can throw. I saw students playing it on like a free browser game, and then it was on Switch for $5. So imagine Tecmo where you can throw, but you can also, there's a management sim where you can trade players for draft picks. Your players can get in trouble, like getting drunk driving. You can praise the fans. You can go with meetings. So there's that aspect of it. The one knock on it is you don't get to play defense. You can only play offense.
Well, nobody wants to play defense anyway.
I'm Madden. True. I like playing defense, but yes, right. But
when was the last time you played Madden?
Oh God, 2012.
Yeah, so you don't really like playing defense that much.
No, I didn't say that. If it was on the Switch,
I'd play. The last time you played defense was 11 years ago.
Hey. But
it's not that good.
It's not that good. It's still a really fun game for $5, and it's on browsers. But it's also touchscreen throw. If you want to use a touchpad and throw it that way, you can. Or you can use your controller. You can pick whatever team. They have all the NFL teams, but they just call it Seattle. But they're blue and green. The New York team is green and white. There's like a couple, they base off NFL teams.
So have you challenged any of your students in the classroom to this game? Or you're like, let's go retro?
You can't play other people. It's just a single player thing.
Okay.
Right? Because it's that one player sim. Kicking is the worst. I hate it. I always go for 2.
Where are you playing this? Is this a phone or Switch?
Switch. I'm playing Switch because I bought it. I got, you get Christmas gift card, and I was like, oh, $5? Heck yeah. I've been seeing the kids play it. And I like the dynasty sim aspect. Like, okay, let me build a team. Oh, I'm going to trade this receiver. He's kind of older. I can get a second round pick. And then this next season, I can have a young squad. So like my team is really like a 2-star team. And I made some right trades where I had multiple draft picks. Now they're a 4-star offense because I have a rookie running back that has like a 5-star potential. Yeah, and you can scout players to see how their stat growth goes because they gain levels. When they gain a level, you can go, okay, I'm going to give them more speed, stamina, catching, or whatever. And then you can choose what kind of star players you have. So I added a star lineman. It has some depth to it. So if you like building, if you like fantasy football or building a roster, if you like that part, the dynasty mode in Madden, this is a really silly way to play it, right? And it's fun. $5, it's definitely worth $5. And it doesn't ruin your life like Vampire Survivor. If I want to play, I can be like, okay, I'm gonna walk away and be good. And it's a nice retro throwback. But speaking of retro throwbacks, Eric, you've been playing a retro game.
Oh my God, I have. With all the storms in California, I've been stuck indoors and I've been going on a cleaning spree. And I was looking for Final Fantasy IX, so I'm digging through all my old games trying to find it, and I found Breath of Fire 3.
Nice.
And I was like, "There's no way this thing still works." And I threw it my PS2, and it fired right up. And I have a 25-hour save file from. It had to have been. It's my original memory card, Casey. You have seen this. It's
So it's 24 years old.
So I've got this old save file of a game that's on my backlog that I haven't played in years that I've always wanted to beat. So yeah, I've been getting down to Breath of Fire 3, and I've been playing with both. I started a new file, and that's really fun because it's always I enjoy replaying some of these old games. Just the experience of starting it up and getting going, and how can you make this playthrough a little bit different, and what did you maybe miss in the last one? but at the same time, I've got this playthrough that's I don't want to guess how many hours are left, but I could beat the game. I think I'm just going to run it back the whole way.
Yeah,
it's a really deep game. I think the apprentice system with the masters is a lot of fun. It makes for some really cool customization options. The gene system with dragons with the for Ryu is awesome. Yeah, the dragon gene system. It's so much fun. You get so many cool combinations.
This game came out in 1997, by the way, for those listening, and it came out September 11th, 1997. And what's interesting about Breath of Fire, so it's a JRPG. It was originally made by Square, and Breath of Fire 1 was on Super Nintendo, and then I think Capcom took over for 2 or 3, and they did a great job. This one, Capcom made JRPGs.
Yes.
And I wanted to. I mean, they make Monster Hunter, which is arguably a JRPG. It is the JRPG. So
I gotta say, like Capcom, they do game tunes great. It's a fun game. And I said 25 hours in, so and I spend a lot of time on my playthroughs too, so you could probably beat it between 30 and 40 hours. So if you're looking for a retro game that's not, I don't know how long a game is. I like longer games.
So what's gotten you stuck with it though? Because it's a game that you've replayed, and so this is different. Shelby, you're not much of a replayer of games, right? Unless it's like a long form. Like would you ever off a whim go, I'm gonna go restart Red Dead 2?
No, like very rarely. Yeah. Like I think like the only occasion that I would do that is if I was putting together like a game of the generation type list, like I might fire it up. But even then, like I'm just not a replayer. I'm not a rewatcher of like videos or TV series. Like very rarely will I go back and revisit content.
Yeah.
But this is a complete blind spot for me. Like Breath of Fire 3, like I don't even know what this game is. So this was released in 97, it looks like.
It was on PlayStation 1.
On the original PlayStation. Like you're going back.
Yeah. And you're playing it on a PS2, right?
Yeah.
So what's it like with the fidelity of how a system looks now? Do you kind of wish, like, I wish they'd give this game a remaster treatment and clean it up?
Honestly, I don't. It's the thing, and the thing is, it's a really well made JRPG too.
Yeah,
like it's there aren't a lot of issues as far as like item management or I guess quality of life issues. I'd call them. It's a really well made game. It has a lot of charm. The animation is for a 97 game. I think it's really good. It's a good looking game with good looking artwork. The sound is great. I think Capcom does really well with sound on a lot of their games. I mean, Mega
Man's music's some of the best ever.
Right? Yeah, it's some of the best. So it's I don't know how to necessarily recommend this as an experience. It's not something that anybody has. I just happen to have the old disc and the console that I could just throw it in and go. I know
where else do you think you could play it? Where else do you think you could play it?
I'm sure you could play it online somewhere. I'm sure
illegal means.
There's got to be a Steam somewhere, right? I mean,
it's not a Steam one. Capcom.
Really? So I mean, Capcom's got to have a collection out there, no?
PSP and Vita, and you can get Breath of Fire 4 on PS3.
PSP and Vita, which means you can't find those anywhere.
Yes. Unless you still have one, right? Like play. Oh, there are some retro browser games.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm gonna save this website I just found for later.
Do you think that the gameplay like holds up this day and age, or does it feel a little old school?
It does, and I sent Casey a little short, just random mob battle clip, and it's still when you see Ray transform into the Were-Tiger, it's. And in some of the I was messing around with it in some of the longer multi mob battles, and he's jumping in, and the sound effects are good. There's the hit, like the hit sound when he slashes into it sounds good. It still feels it's very satisfying. I always thought that the combat in that game was very satisfying. Every character brought something really cool to the table, something unique.
So and you can learn things from like random NPCs too, right? Like skills, you can go train under them.
and that was the I don't know if it was if you want to call it the master or I think you apprenticed with just, and these weren't just NPCs. These were like big time. Well, Bunyan is
like a former warrior, right?
Like a former warrior, or some like an imposing figure that you meet in your travels, and you can come back and you can apprentice with them, and under their tutelage, what'll happen is your stats will grow at a different rate, and you'll learn specific skills. So, and there's trade-offs too. So there's, Gar, for example, he's a big beefy tank, no magical abilities, so you don't want to put him with with somebody who's going to have his magic grow. He's not going to learn anything useful. But so you're going to find someone who's tailored to have his strength grow, his health grow.
You can min max real hard with that.
Yeah, you can min max real hard with your characters, which is something I love.
I know you do. Shelby's in that min max world too right now.
Oh, for sure. And before we transition out of this, what takes you? What brings you to play this game, Eric? Is this like one of those games that you had a save file on, and one day you're going to go back to beat it? Because for you to have a save file where you're hours in, this feels like you got a monkey on your back, buddy.
So I will tell you.
Yes.
So I have 2 other save files on that memory card that I saw that are ridiculous. Brief segue. I have a 63-hour Final Fantasy Tactics file.
Love it. And you probably have that on your phone too, though, because I know you have Tactics on your phone.
I have not actually played it as much on my phone, and I've got a 45-hour Final Fantasy 7 file on there. So these are my old these. So this is
that Final Fantasy 7 one though. That's probably like his 10th playthrough of it. So he has.
It probably is.
Yeah. For Eric at 45, he's probably at the end game already and has every materia.
Listen, that was probably one of the first video games I purchased with my allowance and saved up for.
Love it.
As a child. I got my money's worth out of that game.
So as you're playing through this one, is there like a moment where you're like, this is where I turned around last time?
Essentially what happened is I was moving towards the end, kind of like the last kind of push towards you get to the last area where you have your final boss. And I had the player's guide and everything. And I was torn between more min-maxing and pushing through. And I couldn't figure out what to do. So I kind of went forward with one. I kind of started playing with another. And I think another game might have come along the way, and I was just kind of undecided. And somehow I don't have those save files. So this might be my second playthrough where I was like, no, I'm going to give it one last shot. Maybe I lost the old save file. I don't know. Data got corrupted on some of those old.
That happened with the older stuff, right? Yeah.
And I think some of those, and I don't know if it's the PlayStation specifically or not, but I know some of those memory cards had batteries in them, and if the batteries go dead, they can sometimes lose the memory on them.
That happens in old Pokemon games too. Yeah. I think we're going to use our Discord as a support system for Eric because I want updates. Like, hey, you got to beat it. You got to beat it.
I want to, and that's it's so hard because like I said, I'm probably 3/4 of the way through the game on one file, but
you don't remember. How well will you remember the story, right?
Oh, I love the story. It's a great story.
So you can remember. Okay, so maybe maybe just finish that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a JRPG. Still has another 30 hours of gameplay. So I mean, he'll pick the story up, right?
That's true. Linda, the Gamer Gal, says the PlayStation can also not read a card correctly. Yeah, it can. It will not read it. It'll be error. Yeah.
Well, those systems get old too. I don't know. You can always take, like, if you run into that, you can always take it to one of those retro shops. They seem to be doing good work.
This is the PS2 I bought when I was 20 years old, and I moved out of my parents' house, and I needed a DVD player.
The main, yes, right before the PS3. So PS2s were probably like $150.
This is a 17-year-old PS2, and it's still kicking.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Sony.
Yeah, not kicking though. Not kicking the bucket is Shelby's Fire Emblem team.
Oh my gosh, guys!
How is your grinding and min maxing going?
I'm still doing it. I'm still doing.
You're doing it, Peter.
Fire Emblem Three Houses. I can't believe it. Like, how am I still playing this game? Like, this is the gift that keeps on giving here. Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Well, I feel like you're riding the same wave a little bit of Mario Rabbids, where you're like, I'm not sure. Mario Rabbids, you were more like, this is dumb, and then you're like, okay, I get it now. Where this is like, you're like, huh, okay, this, there's these peaks and waves and valleys. You're surfing through it right now.
I hate how accurate that statement is. I absolutely hate it. I hate that this game is growing on me to the point where I'm just like, I love it. Like, I need to play more of it right now. The entire part where you were like interacting with the students was really grating on me in the beginning, and now I'm just like, okay, I'll watch this like a Netflix show before I fall asleep, and I'm like watching the support and like who's interacting with whom, and it's good. Like, this is a good game.
It's so good.
The bloat around the edges is significant, and I hated it for a long time, and now that I've suffered through getting to know all these characters, I'm like totally pot committed.
Yeah, because now you're like, oh, I like this guy. Oh, this person, you're attached a little bit, right?
I literally laughed out loud because, okay, spoiler alert for a game that came out, a couple of years ago.
19, yeah.
Okay, 19, or whatever the date was for Three Houses. There is a time skip in this. We've mentioned it before. I mentioned it here. Yeah. But seriously, when they go through the time skip, they just all have longer hair. Like, that's how you can tell they're older.
Hold on. Your boy Claude's got a little bit of a goatee, and Dimitri is a changed man. I don't know. You're like Dimitri. You're like, oh, he's whatever. And then if you play his run, you've seen Dimitri right now?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I don't want to ruin what he looks like, but he's the most drastically changed. Mentally and physically.
I might be fighting him right now. So I think I'm a couple chapters in, following a time skip, and like I've just reclaimed the monastery, and I think I'm in my second month of battle. So it's like the second story mission. I want to say I'm like a couple chapters into the time skip. How
often do you auto battle?
I should auto battle more.
Don't?
But it frustrates me that they use my good weapons. I didn't tell you to take that good weapon out.
You changed the equipment. You give them the only two. I must teach you the ways.
Either I'm doing it wrong, or they are going in and grabbing the good weapons. I don't like it. I don't like how they go and use the good weapons.
They'll use whatever will kill them
the steel sword that I'm just going to sell if you don't use up, because I'm buying silvers left and right now.
Yeah. No, what you do is you only equip them with like one or two weapons. You send them in, and I would only like main story battles I would play, but like if it was a character side quest or it was like, hey, just go do a random battle to go fight, I'd click on auto battle and be like full aggression, please just kill. Yeah. And if you have animations off like you did, and you put it on fast forward, 2 minutes, you're like, yes, done.
Maybe I can turn it up a little bit in terms of like the speed, because I'm I don't want them to send in a healer and then they don't always heal. It's like, how are you going to get XP if you don't under healer heal? So I mean, there's like little things like that I'm like going into micromanaging. Maybe I just can't let go. Maybe that's really what it is.
Well, all your healers should have attack spells now too. That's
they do. Yeah. I'm using, is it Flane? I'm using Flane.
Okay.
I don't think that's her name. Green hair.
Oh, and she's the monastery. She's Seth's little sister.
Seredith's, I think his name is. Seth. Yeah.
And so he's a dragon rider guy.
Yeah, and then like like, see, this is the problem. Like I'm like these characters, I'm frustrated with them, and then all of a sudden it's like, so Lorenz, right? You're like, make sure to like keep on Lorenz. Like, okay, so I'm gonna play with him. He has a lance. He's very like OP, and then like
purple haired guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then time skip happens, and he's like, hey, did you know that I'm also really good at magic? I'm like, I haven't even used your magic, and now he's just destroying enemies on the battlefield with fire spells, and I'm like. Where did you come from? Like you just totally and I guess
it's that 3-star thing I was telling you about. See, look in the trailer right there. You just missed it where they show Dimitri. Hold on, I'm gonna go back really quick. Look at him. Look at him here in a second.
Dude, Dragon Dimitri.
No, right here. Young Dimitri. Now watch, wait. What the time skip's coming.
Isn't that the little this little guy?
Three futures, look at.
Oh, dude, guy lost an eye.
He lost an eye.
Guy lost an eye.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know where he landed quite yet. I know that I'm up against the Empire. It's headed by not my clan, and I don't know where he landed in the shuffle, but he was like kind of the middle ground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's a weird Venn diagram. Like one of the runs is basically imperialism. One of them is like fascism, and yours is like democracy, right? So you're kind of going through these different things. Would you ever try the DLC or no?
I think it's hard to say right now. Like normally, like let me get to the credits and then see where it goes. I think the chances of me going into DLC is probably very, very low on this.
I was so disappointed.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, Shelby's back into that. Let me run the. It takes away the aspect of the game that's the best. Like, oh, maybe I don't want him to be a sword master. I want him to be an assassin. Nope, you can only have these 3 characters and these 2. Like, I liked recruit. Were you able to recruit anybody from other houses yet? Did you get Felix?
No, I didn't get Felix. And I think
I gave you the in. Just talk about swords.
But I mean, like, what do you mean talk about swords? Like, that's the other thing. Like, I don't think like the main character, I'm spending no time or energy upgrading his skills. Like,
what?
And
that's the best character in the game.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to spend the time in the monastery all selfishly building my own stats.
No, you don't. You can build them passively, but like you could have gone and dueled Felix like that. He would respect you because you beat him in a duel.
Yeah,
right? Like there's certain things.
I picked up 1 character, well, 2. I don't know if green hair was supposed to come. Like I don't know.
They come because they work for them. If they work for the monastery, they join you. So you should have gotten the brown-haired teacher. Did you get Catherine, the blonde armored lady? She's like, you didn't get her?
I didn't get Catherine. I got the sniper gal, Shamir.
Oh yeah. Did you get the
and I got boy? The brown-haired boy,
yeah, that he's an archer too. Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to make him a Dark Knight. We'll see if he can if we can push him in that direction. It's really good. I am a little frustrated that you have this roster of characters and you can't play with all your toys at the same time.
Well, that's what New Game Plus is for.
Oh, was that? Yeah, to play with different characters. It's just like, no, you're going to give me this cast of 30 characters, and then you're not going to let me play with all of them at the same time. Like,
you want give me a battle where I can use the full army?
Right.
That'd be rad.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
exactly.
Yeah.
I also think that this game is better enjoyed on a big screen than a handheld screen. I may have mentioned that before, but I spent a little bit of time last week playing on a big screen, and it's like, oh, this is a whole different experience. Right. Can't recommend enough.
Sometimes I think Switch games are built like that, and that's one of them. So Fire Emblem Engage comes out in 2 weeks, and we've been talking with Dr. Z, and I'm like, I can't, but maybe I can. Every time you guys say it, because I see it. I love Fire Emblem, and I played a lot of them, but I do skip every once in a while on a generation. Like, yeah, I'll see. Like, I love Three Houses.
You guys have been leaning on me for Three Houses for a long time. You're like, play this game. I don't know why you don't love it. And I'm like, and I'll tell you why. It's like I'm 35, maybe 40 hours in, and now I'm like, oh, this game is amazing.
I skip no parts. I skip different games. 100 pot pie. Casey confirmed parts. Not part skipper. Game skipper. I skip.
Casey for part skipper.
I might watch Lord of the Rings, and then I might go watch the Return of the King. I might just skip Two Towers, even though
Casey watches the first part of The Hobbit, then Return of the King, then goes back to The Hobbit Part 2.
Yeah. Good.
So a couple questions before I move on, because I have you here. I have a couple of characters that aren't going to spec well for a master class. Do I just leave them at an advanced class and just play out the game that way, or do I need to push them? Is it Lorenz, the blonde-haired boy?
The blonde.
No, not the.
Lorenz is the purple guy.
Ignatz.
And he has the glasses. He's green hair.
Yep.
You can make him a sniper.
I'm currently having him as an assassin, and he's a archer / swords dude.
Yeah, just go to sniper with him.
And he mows, but I think it's sniper's not a master class. I think it's an advanced class. So I might just leave him, but there's no penalty for not putting them in a master class.
It's just for stat growth and how you like to build him. And if he's doing good, keep him there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing that thing, and maybe this is how everybody plays this game, but I'm rolling people. Like I come in and I'm one-shotting people.
That's what
like,
you want to be doing. That's what I'm saying. Now that's why you auto battle, and then you can. The goal is you should, when you're in a level and you have someone under-leveled, you bring in like 4 people that are under-leveled and have 4 people that are strong over them to build them, and that's how you even out your squad.
And then you kind of have that Pokemon thing where you can just attach them, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's great too. Like having the bonds, and then they can double attack, and so some of those characters are best designed for that too. And that's the other thing. It's a relationship sim, so you have to think that like, which character do I like to? I'm gonna put the pink-haired girl with the really cringy guy. You know, like
like it's surprising. Like it's surprising me how much it's grown on me. Like the interrelationship stuff, I could take it or leave it, but for the most part, like it's growing on me, and excited to see where it is. And if I remember, like back to the other JRPG I played, Like a Dragon, like same thing. Like I was very like, I don't know, like that was just weird enough to get me 30 hours in. I'm like, I love these characters. I have to see where this goes.
So that's what it is for you. For I think a JRPG, it has to be somewhat character driven, right? For you to obviously good gameplay is important too, because that's the thing about the Fire Emblem. Like it's, you can go as deep as you want and still be engaged, but you seem like, oh, okay, I've accepted that this is a character piece and I'm gonna go all in on it.
Yeah, I think the degrees of penetration that I've had to go through is much more significant on this title. Like
I'm fine.
The barriers I had to penetrate. Again, the barriers that I had to overcome are much more significant in this game than they were in Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
Like this is just like, okay, systems on systems on systems. And in the beginning, the first 20 hours, I'm like, am I doing this right? Shouldn't I be doing this? And kind of like that, an analysis paralysis thing. And now I'm at the point where like, dude, I'm rolling people. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna, like, the back half of the game, I now have permission to have fun because I don't feel like I've screwed it up.
No, you got your squad. You can just go through. You might be able to get a couple other people to join you or build out. So will you get engaged? That's the other thing. Are you need a Fire Emblem break?
I'm gonna say Fire Emblem break after this. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, if people come out and they say, "Hey, we have to play it," like you have to play it. Maybe. Like one thing that I do kind of want to do in 2023, and I don't know how much we talked about this as a team, but I do want to like integrate some more recent games. Like the stuff we're playing is a little bit dated, so like if there's a game that people come out and say, hey, you have to play Engage, it's going to be on game of the year lists, it's my game of the year, like that's the conversation I need to hear that's going to push me over the edge.
Right. My thing is, I know Fire Emblem's coming out, and with my time I want to give it, I also know that Octopath comes out a month later, and I'll drop it for Octopath fast. And then I just like, okay, a free copy would be great. If someone wants to give me a copy out there, I will take it. And I will power through it. But I got some other games too that I'm working on that take some time. So I hear you.
I feel like you should have the collector's edition like on hold somewhere for Octo 2.
The one on, have you seen the one on Squaresoft's website? It's a really nice. I looked at, it's like $170. I
worth it.
Worth it. I'll probably get something. No, the Octopath. Oh man, I'm so excited for that in the next month. But
when does that come out? Next month?
Comes February 24th.
And then you're gonna have to play something for JRPG July.
For JRPG July, I'm thinking about doing Final Fantasy 14. And I play so many JRPGs, I'll find something. Maybe I'll do a Violet Nuzlocke and stream it because I should have my new computer by then and change my starter there.
Yeah,
it's a new game.
It's a new game, right?
Are we going to do Metroidvania March this year?
I think I think we should move it to Metroidvania May, because March is when football for the spring starts, and then I'm done in May-ish. So I think we can go into it. I'm down for it. I want to do it, but I know what my commitments are in March.
That gives us 2 months to knock. Yeah, we could do that. We can knock it out. Yeah, June,
I want to honor it. I think we should make fighting game February. We should look into that.
No.
You're going to be hard pressed to get me into a fighting game. I mean, I tried my darndest to get into DBZ Fighters, and like that had the art style, and still it was like,
it's hard. You also know those games take a commitment because you're going to get shellacked.
Yeah, you have to be good at video games to play fighting games.
You got to be willing just to get swamped.
Look, just because we can make an alliteration with a genre does not mean we should do it. We do not need a sports game September.
I'm done. Put it on the calendar right now. Great idea, Eric. Yeah. Eric's just going to keep giving me ideas. I'm going to go, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Sports game September. I'm just going to play Mario Strikers. I'm in.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Done. Put it in the books, everybody. Great idea, Eric. Great idea.
Eric, you have to play table tennis. Octopath October. You have to wait till October to play Octopath. Sorry.
Octopath together.
I'll break down and play a driving game or a racing game.
I always thought you liked driving racing game.
Driving game December. Here we go.
Very, very specific ones. Like it's got to be heavy into customization. There were some good ones. So was it Need for Speed? Oh, there was a Need for Speed's a good franchise, actually.
There's a lot of good franchises, and there's a lot of new games coming out. And actually, as we move into our new network here, our first news story today is: are you guys familiar with Donkey?
Only because you brought him up on the cast before. You're a Donkey fan, correct?
His videos are pretty funny. I like Donkey. Donkey is a YouTuber that has reviewed games. He started as a League of Legends guy, and he would do these top 20 lists or breakdowns of games, and he's super dry humor. He's got bars, too. He'll do it every once in a while. He'll do a freestyle. But he started a new game. He started a publishing company, and he announced it, and his first game's coming out called Animal Well. And he's really critical of games, like the games he likes. He dunks on JRPGs pretty hard. He's pretty harsh on them, but he does secretly like them. His running joke is his game of the year is always Super Mario Brothers 2, and he has this voice. You have to watch his videos, but he always gets a Super Mario Brothers 2 reference in there. And I'm a big fan, but I'd like to see his game company do well. If you want to play, you can play that Animal Well trailer, which this is coming out on PlayStation, but this is his publishing company's first game. He came out earlier this year and said, hey, and his company's called Big Mode Games. He wanted to start helping produce games and make games because he loves games, which I think is a natural progression. And he'll find some pretty interesting niche games. And so I'm kind of curious to see. Some people on the internet really want him to fail because he can really rub people the wrong way because he will he went after Sonic the Hedgehog fans super hard with the new Sonic game, Sonic Frontier.
I mean, don't go after Sonic the Hedgehog fans. They don't have anything to be happy about.
Exactly. His whole thing was like, this game's okay. And you guys are taking a win from saying something's okay because you've been so disappointed for years. And rightfully so. And this game looks pretty interesting to me. Simple graphics. I like a little 8-bit style. But I'm sure the gameplay loop's going to be addictive.
Well, in the article, it says that this is a Metroidvania. So this could be your Metroidvania game that you were looking for.
Could. If it's going to be on Steam and PS5 is my only problem right now. If you get it on the Switch, we'll talk.
Steam and the PS5. Well, you need a Steam Deck, buddy.
I do. I mean, I am. I'm like, every time. I'm like, Steam Deck, eh? Well, I'm getting my new computer here soon, so maybe I'll break down and go into the Steam world.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Eric.
I was going to say you should play some games for grown-ups, Casey.
Hey.
It's time. We've actually gathered you here to talk about the
So why are we playing Fortnite then? Why are we playing Fortnite?
Listen, Fortnite is low-key like one of the most amazing games ever. Nice. And by the way, if you haven't been watching streams, we're finally getting Casey into the Fortnite
hold on. I want to when we played, me, you, Higher Ground, and Dr. Z, we ran the table back to back to back, and it was great. We went undefeated, Victory Royale. My first game ever, Victory Royale. They're like, okay.
Dude,
like, all right,
we're going to have to maybe get on some sticks tonight. I mean, it just depends on what you're looking at.
Yeah. I'm down. I want Aaron to join, but we can get Higher Ground in there. I know he's here in the bat signal somewhere.
So you got to play with Dr. Z. Did you happen to get him his Pokemon card yet?
He's coming over next month. I'm handing it to him in person.
Next month, in person.
like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Him and his.
I want like a political world figure to political world figure.
Yeah. It's gonna be
style transition of the card front two hands. Yes.
Not those cards. Put it down. No one wants the Fortnite card.
Wait, I've got one.
As soon as Dr. Z comes in and he's here while I have this on stream, we're gonna open this, but not until then. Is that like a great? Are you gonna get that PSA graded?
He'll do it on Thursday. He'll do it on Thursday with you.
Shelby, I literally have no idea what this card is, what it does, who this is, what this is for.
It was a random filler, right?
It's a random filler card that helped keep we'll reveal Thursday.
It must be good. It must be good.
Yes,
I have a problem with randomness in my life too, just because how my brain works. I'm someone who struggles with ADHD. There's been a big article coming out. So there's a new mobile game that they're using to treat people with ADHD to help wean them off Adderall. Now, this is not a divisive comment because I don't want to make this about medicine, because medicine can help kids. I had some of these ads on this article, if you're watching the video version, not great. But again, there's my ADD, right? Just firing off.
I even turned on my DuckDuckGo, and this is what you're saying. So let's see if I refresh
popped that up. I thought we were going to start talking about fashion.
Doesn't help.
So with ADHD, Eric, did you just drop an F-bomb? I gotta put that.
No.
Oh, I thought it sounded like it. I was like, what? So
no, I don't think so.
For me, as someone that the medicine can help people. I've taken medicine my whole life. At a certain point, though, depending on your health or what's going on with your body, you might not be able to, right? Because of the effects. And some people can, some people can't. This game is helping video game people wean off their medicine, and because sometimes there is over prescription crisis for some people, and even for people that maybe can't take their medicine anymore, this could be an outlet for them. It's something, when it comes to phones, I'm going to try it, and I want to see how it's going to do.
Yeah, within this article, they also talk about how they're able to diagnose individuals with ADHD as well, which I thought was interesting. Of the sample size, it looked like they pulled in 100 individuals, and they were able to claim which one of those individuals would potentially have ADHD with 93% accuracy, which was pretty interesting. Like, if this could be a way to diagnose individuals, that would be great, or at least give them the pathway to start the conversation. I think that's pretty interesting. But any way that we can get people off of Western medicine, I think is good. I know everybody has their own opinion, but more ways of making the world a better place.
Right. Pharmaceutical companies aren't necessarily out for your best interest, right? But medicine does help people, and it's a hard thing. And if it's something that can help people truly, right, and it can help them, I'm interested. But it's only with children right now. I'm curious if they would test it with adults and see what it does. Or is it just going to be Vampire Survivor and they become addicted to it? That's my other fear.
So you've been medication
my whole
your whole life?
Most of my life, yeah. I would.
Have you ever seen a witch doctor for that? I hear that they've got a lot of really good solutions. That,
jeez.
I mean,
I go to the real doctor that medically prescribed stuff. No.
I mean, he could give you a great shrunken head.
Yes, I just need an idol or a curse. Eric, this is not D&D. I am not making a pact with the old one for warlocks.
Have you tried it? Have I tried it?
No. I'd like to try things in D&D. I'd like to try things in D&D and make some pacts, but we got to be careful with what's going on in the D&D world.
Dude, you're the dungeon master. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I put in this article because I think it's really important, because we are a gaming podcast, and we do have our new Dice Night show, which we're recording this Friday. And actually, if you want to listen to an actual play or Session Zero, that is now on your podcatchers. Just search Dice Night. So Dungeons & Dragons was bought by Hasbro, and Hasbro people they're moving from there's different editions of Dungeons & Dragons. There's 3.5 edition. There's edition 1. Currently, we're in 5th edition, and we're moving to a new model called D&D 1, where they're trying to make everything online and everything's open. And the thing about D&D that's great about it is there's something called the Open Gaming License. And the Open Gaming License allows creators to make a booklet. They make a modular campaign that they can sell on websites like the DM's Guild. And they can go, hey, if you want to play my campaign that I have fully fleshed out with your friends and learn how to play, just pay me $5, right? And now what Hasbro is wanting to do is, creators, you have to report every profit you make, and you have to give us a 20% cut. And that was not the original design of the Open Game License. And a huge part of D&D is the community and the Open Game License. One of those creators is a group called Cold Bowl Press. Cold Bowls are like little dragon people they work for big dragons. They're kind of dumb. Great. They make some of the best resource material. They came out today and said like, hey, we're open D&D. We're going against it. And they're starting a game. They're working on looking at making their own system now. And they're calling it Project Black Flag, which was like sick name. Yeah. The community is pretty in arms about it. Now, people like Critical Role. Critical Role it's the biggest D&D show. It's on Twitch every Thursday. They have Vox Machinima, which is an awesome, awesome show that I highly recommend to watch on Amazon. They've written a book. They've written a module for Wizards of the Coast and D&D. So they're kind of already in works with them, and they're going to do their own thing. But I think a lot of creators are not going to move on. D&D today finally made a comment, and it was kind of like, I'm on the phone. Hold on, we'll talk. It was one of those comments like, it's a comment because we don't have anything to say and we're a little freaked out right now type comment. Let me find it.
Yeah, well, I mean, and especially when you take something like D&D, which has been around for so long, you know what I mean? So much of it is in the culture, and to try to pull it out or monetize it seems like the wrong move. You know, you would think when you have this much attention of the world right now, individuals wouldn't like make grandiose statements that come around to bite you, but it looks like that's kind of what happened here, right?
Yeah. Well, here's their statement. We know you have questions about the OGL, and we'll be sharing more soon. Thanks for your patience. That was 10 hours ago as of this podcast. So it's kind of like we'll be sharing more. We're against the ropes. People are not liking it. And then today they announced that Paramount's making a new Dungeons & Dragons TV show, right? And they have the movie coming out in March. This is like, hey guys, you're people are going to boycott, or people are not going to go. Your big fan base is going to turn against you. I really want to see the Dungeons & Dragons movie personally. I'm actually pretty hyped about it.
Let me ask you a question. What if somebody creates a module for D&D?
Yeah.
What about that module makes it copyrightable or makes it able to be claimed by Hasbro? Is it the title making it called D&D, or is it the content within it that is too much like D&D that they can say that mirrors Dungeons and Dragons? Because the whole idea behind D&D is, yes, you know, I can pull up my player's manual. I can look up all the rules. I can look over everything. You, me, and everybody we play with can sit down and say, we want to play D&D, but we don't want to do this. We don't want to do this. We think this is great, and we can make it our own game. And at that point, is it even D&D? But is a homebrew, is that even D&D anymore?
It is, because it's D&D at the heart of it. Here's the thing. It's because you're using their IP. So you can still use the dice system to answer your question. Like you're saying, like we could say, we're going to use 20s. We're going to, like, remember how I talked to you about there's some people that have home games where they use a D12 as their main dice instead of a D20, which those people are psychopaths. I got a natural 12.
So let me ask you this. When you're, let's take a car for an example. At what point does a car become a truck? At what point has something changed so much from its original iteration that it is now something completely different?
That's like a homebrew, and that's like with Shelby Mustang, right? That's a kit that must afford into
No, we're not talking. I'm talking about at what point you've taken a car, something that transports people, and now you've added a bed to it. You've added a chassis. At what point is that now classified a truck? At what point can you now look at that and say that is no longer a car? We have to look at that and call it something else. At what point have we changed the rules of a D&D campaign so much that we're not even really playing D&D anymore? Is what I'm getting at.
Right. There's other systems too. There's like Vampire Masquerade. There's something called Pathfinder, which is Pazio. It's a different gaming system, but it's similar. They use D20s, right? So it's the name and likeness, right? Like if you wanted to play using the system, but if you use Dragonborn, D&D is gonna be like, oh, Dragonborn's our thing. If we want to call them Dragon Folk, we could call them that. We could call them Dragonians, right? You can make it your own there. Like Linda's talking about, they use their IP and that's homebrew. The other big thing about it is if you're making monetary. If I made a module for D&D and I made it free, they're not going to be mad. And if they like it, they'll take it and be like, yeah, we want to use this module, right? But some people, that's their job. They make stuff for D&D. Now, people that make dice or people that do actual plays, they're fine. But it's the people that make the material, that like maps or modules. There's a very famous booklet called The Green Knight, I believe, that has been used forever. And that they would have to give 20% of their profit to D&D because it uses the D&D name. And Linda's saying she's stopping after 5e. Eric and I have been in this group now for 2 years. I've only played 5e. I haven't played any other. If D&D 1, if the community is really against it, I'm not married to, I love the game. And I like 5e. I could just stick with 5e.
What is 5e?
5e is the current edition. It's 5th edition rules.
Gotcha.
So every edition has different rules. As long as you don't say their worlds, right? So we can't use, if we made a game, you started in 3e. Nice. My first ever was Pathfinder, my first tabletop game. So we couldn't be in Dragonlance. We couldn't be in the Forgotten Realms. We couldn't be in Eberron, right? There's D&D worlds that are built out. But if you, me, Hunter, Meech, and Sean decide to make our own world with our own system and just use in our head 5e, but change it up like we do for homebrew, then it's our own thing.
I look at what workarounds could there potentially be for this, for people that want to make content that say, okay, well,
they're going to watch. Go ahead. Sorry.
Somebody, maybe Case, you submit our rules that we've agreed on, and you created a homebrew and that's specifically for us, but maybe you want to create modules for that specific set of rules,
right?
Because I don't know.
You're absolutely right. That's how different gaming systems work. I just can't say it's in the Forgotten Realms, right? I
hate the idea of it. I hate this whole idea of
a corporation putting their paws into something that for the community that makes their game and makes their game great. It is bad. I hate it too, right? Yeah, it's not good.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And I hope that there is a way around it. I hope that it's
the biggest way around it, and it's sad, and I don't want to it can come off, this comment could come off like being piffy or blowing off you, like you play a new system. People will move to something else. Like Linda was saying in our chat, she's done after 5e. The Kobo Press, tons of D&D players use Kobo Press. Some of the biggest podcasts I listen to use their material all the time. People will be interested to see what they would make, right? And the big thing, Kobo Press might have to change their name if D&D owns the right to Kobo, right? Starfinder is the space version of Pathfinder. That's a different system. People will find other games, or like we'll say, we'll keep playing, and instead of being Dice Night a D&D podcast, we'll be Dice Night a tabletop role-playing podcast, because that's what we're doing, right? And we might make our own world at some point. I've already had that thought. Like, okay, well, if I'm going to keep doing this, but I love D&D, and I'm hoping maybe they'll listen, right? There's been one time in my life where corporations have listened, and it was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie when they showed Sonic and make him look right, get rid of his teeth, and then they were going to redo the whole CGI for the movie, and they made it right. Yeah, they're making a rule symbol for Cobalt Press. Yeah, and I think and I'm all for it. So things are moving, and D&D's, I think, paying attention, and if they want to save their bottom line, it's good. And someone else that needs to be paying attention is us to Microsoft, because they want to get into the mobile space. For a final news story here.
Yeah, and I saw somebody drop one in our chat too. We may want to quickly watch that trailer. But this one comes from The Verge. Microsoft is building an Xbox mobile game store to take on Apple and Google, reads the headline. Long story short, they are using some of those assets, they being Microsoft, are using some of the assets they picked up in that recent acquisition that has to do with King Studios. Right. So they're basically going to be coming up with some sort of mobile gaming store. The headline says they're going heads up with those two platforms. It's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out. They don't have phones. The Microsoft phone did not take off.
No,
so
it did not.
How all that incorporates is going to be interesting. This article goes on to mention how Xbox Cloud Gaming is playing nice with Valve's Steam Deck, and goes in to talk a little bit about the acquisition that's had a lot of legal fervor and been a lot of the news. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. Microsoft is making a lot of smart moves in terms of winning over the hearts and minds of gamers, as I've said in this podcast, in the last couple of, I guess, 6 months or so. and they continue to do so. I mean, they basically have a library. They are able to stream it via cloud, and it would not surprise me if they do take on their own store just to try to lift it up, because that stickiness with Epic and Apple that we saw earlier this year is still in news cycles, and I don't think they want to play that same game if they can avoid it.
Linda joined our Discord, so we were paying attention. Thank you, Linda. Again, we have a Discord because we're getting some really good comments about D&D. I love hearing that. I think I was really surprised by this. I kind of thought, why? Because they have Game Pass, and they just can put Game Pass on phones, right? Right? Like,
I mean,
or is it because they want to cut microtransactions?
I'm sure that they're trying to find some sort of avenue for you to be able to give Microsoft money via the game store and not have to give a cut to somebody else, right? Yeah. So you go to your Apple store, download the Microsoft app. Now they have to kick Apple some dough, right? And then is Apple going to be okay with having them on there? You know, there's all that stuff where there's all that different stickiness that goes into how Microsoft is going to actually get this content to people. And I think they're going to do their best to sidestep it, but they are, you know, within this article, they also talk about Microsoft's partnership, if you will, with Fortnite. You can play
Call
Fortnite
of Duty. They own Call of Duty now too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it feels to me like Microsoft and Epic are trying to be buddy, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see more of them coming together.
I'll be curious to see how it plays out because of Game Pass. Like, it kind of, how is that? Does it? I guess there's a space for both, right?
I think so. I mean, I mean, I'm obviously a huge proponent of Game Pass. I play a lot of stuff there. I was
looking at Samsung TVs today just because of that, because you guys were telling me you could just do Game Pass on the TV. I was like,
I'm about to buy a new TV, by the way. I know I've talked about it for years. That's my next purchase. I'm going to spend way too much money on one.
Good. You should.
TVs
the last
aren't that
story,
expensive.
Well, I want the 2.1 HDMI. Which is probably silly and over the top, but at the same time, like it's what I want. This last video I'm going to play is probably not going to come to the stream super hot or super shiny because I'm playing it from a web browser. But Declan kind of showed us this.
Payday 3.
Payday 3 was announced today, right?
Like in the last few days. Yeah.
Trailer popped out, I guess would be a better way to say that.
Get rid of the CRT.
The CRT. It's the only way to truly experience
tube-based television gaming. It's the best.
It's the only way. What do we got going on here?
I know. I'm like, dude, we're in an infinite loop.
No, keep going. That was cool.
Dude, I see awesome. Doctor Strange. That ends poorly for us. I never played Payday 3 because I feel like Grand Theft Auto 5 online kind of took it's like, yeah, we're going to do the thing you do. And goodbye. Go away. But I know people like Payday because Payday is just about heists, right? It's just the heist aspect.
Yeah, I think there'd be a really cool place for this to fit in. I think that, you know, in the beginning when we were talking about Payday, it's like, oh, this is too similar to GTA 5 and like all the heist stuff going on there. But I think there could be a really cool Payday plug-in. Like put it on multiplayer, make it to where we can all hop in and rob banks. Like let's do it. It's time to jump back in.
I'm interested. If they make a free-to-play model, that's the other thing too. Like, okay, how are you gonna compete nowadays? Make it free. You know?
Free.
There's too much good free stuff out there.
Too much good free. No, that's exactly right.
When are they going to start paying us to play games?
Oh, that's a great question, Eric.
When do we cross into that threshold?
When you can mine NFTs like Logan Paul's video game. Too soon?
Hey,
Too soon?
Okay. I know when you were like, what is D&D going to do to make money? I was like, sell NFTs? Like, that's really what you should do. Yeah, for sure.
No. D&D makes enough money.
You know, we were talking about good and free, and there's going to be a really good free show come Thursday and Friday of this week.
Yes, there's a lot of good shows. Eric, why don't you tell us about what's going on Thursday?
Oh, Thursday, the underpowered Pokemon Hour returns with a vengeance. I've got some. I've got a handful of mystery packs just sitting here looking at me. I can't even show them. And I've got some cool vintage packs. Fortunately, we are relying on the United States Postal Service. high praise to the United States Postal Service most of the time.
Benjamin Franklin's greatest idea, right? Yes.
Hey,
I'm a Ben Franklin fan.
No, I'm dead serious though. FedEx, USPS, or UPS, send it USPS if you want it. If you want it to get there fast, Postal Service is generally the quickest.
Unless Amazon's an option, they go.
Yes, it's one of the few government entities that actually works well. I'm pumping up the Postal Service because I want them to do a great job and deliver the other goodies that I've got. But yeah, we're gonna be ripping some vintage-ish packs, and we're gonna be talking mystery packs and seeing what's inside.
Nice.
So that's Thursday. What's going on Friday, Casey?
Friday, great. Hey, Eric, love the alley oop there. Friday, speaking of D&D and all the D&D talk, is Dice Night. Dice Night is our new D&D show that we started. We did a session 0 a couple weeks ago. And again, if you just want a D&D podcast, you can listen to that. We're gonna do actual play. We have some interviews coming, because I feel like the people in D&D space with gaming, Underpowered's main focus is going to just, I think we're shifting to video games and talking gaming news. And then, Shelby and Eric are going to start splitting Thursday nights, and Shelby's going to start battling his backlog and doing some amazing stuff there.
You know what? We got a lot of things coming your way, and we don't know where it's going to land.
Maybe some Lego building. I've been waiting.
I was just looking at packs, and they released 2 new sets that I built a Lego cart for like $150 today. I was like, no, I can't. I need to build before I buy more. But
like sometimes you want to keep it in the box, right? Too, because of value if you're a collector.
I probably should, but yeah. Like that Spider-Man one. If I never get to it, it's probably going to sell for a lot of money one day. Yeah, so it's going to sit there.
And
but no, very excited, especially for Dice Night. I think that it's going to be wonderful.
Oh, you didn't. It's not working. It's not working.
Dang it.
So earlier, Shelby, you get it? Figure it out. Just play with it. I'll stall.
Okay, all right, we'll get there.
Yeah, Shelby's got some stuff to help me out.
Welcome to Dice Night.
There it is. There it is. Kid, just say it for me. Say it for me really quick. Andy Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne.
I can't wait to watch Dice Night. I can't wait to watch
Dice Night. You get to
I win it. What?
Yeah. A couple other people from our Discord are in it. It's just us doing an actual play focused on D&D. In it, we are starting with the module, the book, even though I just clown on the book. Millie. Hey, Millie. That is not very late.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Linda. Well done.
Gross. As long as that's whatever. But if she's licking her paw,
Millie, down. Sick 'em. Get 'em.
She won't do that. On Dice Night, we're doing Icewind Dale because it is the winter, and I've had that book for a year, and I'm excited to do it. And it's one of the most well-liked modules, and we've been doing some secret roles in our Discord too that will be revealed on Friday, what they were for and what they mean throughout the campaign. So it's great. I'm excited. We got some really interesting characters and some interesting tie-ins and a lot of inside jokes. And if you want to know how our team works, just go listen to that session 0. But that will be Friday. We'll be going live at 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, definitely. And everyone in the chat today, thank you so much. Linda, appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Always good that you dropped by. Dougie.
And Doug dropping the gem with the
Doug, great to see you. Apparently
salty Doug. Really? I love him.
What's cool about
the Postal Service is political.
Yes, it is. It is. Eric's getting too political. Eric, dude, you're politically charged right now, man. I need to calm down.
Hey, man, I love the Postal Service. Postmaster General.
They're listening.
Yes.
But no, I see there's a couple of people watching us on YouTube Live and a handful on Twitch. Appreciate you wherever you're coming from. We're putting up a lot of content. It kind of lives on YouTube. It goes up on Twitch as well. So come check us out wherever you'd like to see us. Pokemon Hour Thursday at 8. D&D. Dice Night comes on Friday, so come hang out with us on both those nights. Check out some of our other content. It's exciting to be in 2023, gang. Here we are.
And if you like us, leave us a like, plus comment, and run all your.
Yep, and you're breaking up a little bit. You can follow us on the socials. See you later. If you're listening to the audio version, 5 stars, please. We appreciate you. That is a wrap for this week. We are out.
Play your games.